Today was my first day back to work and it was tiring.
Needed to hold SCRS out on her. If she's a
Oh,
third
I
party,
know,
why
I'm
you all let
very
SCRS
sun
out?
kissed.
I mean, because it's her business, right? I do.
Yeah, that first day back is always really
Man, and I
Okay, yeah,
had
because I mean, the only
4
only
appointments.
reason we would hire, I mean, for me, the only reason we would justify
4
putting her
appointments. And then I had to
on
like
the payroll
check
if
all
we
my
was
emails.
actually
My emails are
hiring her
down.
for an
Oh,
employee.
great.
But we're not, so that's why
I
I was saying
responded to all my
she
emails.
wouldn't go
Both
towards you. She would be
work and
STR.
personal.
Wow, that's a lot.
Is she a treasurer? Okay. Oh, she retired, so yeah, it would be SCRS.
I
Yeah,
didn't-
so that's why I was
I ate
asking. I was
lunch
like,
at
why
my
would
desk.
she think that she would
I did
be
leave my office.
SCRS? And we're not actually
Have you
hiring
ever
her, we're
seen
hiring
that
her firm,
video of
or we're her
when she's
business
at
or
the-
consultant.
At the
So, yeah, it would
buffet
be
with
a
her
business,
plate, then
so
she comes
we
home
wouldn't
and
do
she's
that. She'd
going
have to
along
just
the
pay taxes.
kitchen counter.
Oh.
Yeah, she would get the hourly rate.
Wish she was at the
Buffet.
buffet.
Yeah, yeah. She would get paid. She would not get paid through payroll. She would not get paid through payroll. That's why I couldn't figure out if not, because if you pay her through payroll, then she is going to get SCRS credit.
How'd you like the conference in LA? Is it good?
Vendors would, it would be non-payroll. It would be through accounts payable, and it would be she would receive a 1099. She would receive a 1099. It was 600. I said $699. Yeah, $600 or more. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I was thinking. Why was they thinking that? Oh, did you see that? You see that? You remember when we had William Bill, the treasurer from Bedford, that we didn't hire because he was like,
But it was different.
was he on the board? He was on the board. He was hiring the guy that went to Bedford. His name was Bill. His name was William. The white guy. Yeah, because we hired KJ instead of him.
No, I wasn't here yet.
Oh God, this man was a hot mess. I wish Shabir must have been over there. 'Cause this man, he wanted like $150,000, and he was like, they had all these spreadsheets, and he was like, he could do everything, but it was just too good to be true.
What's he doing now? Is he still there? Oh, that's right.
They
The
ran
stage
him
there.
off. They ran him off. And there was a treasure between him and Data. And she was a white treasure. And she was like, it's too much. It's too much of a mess over here. It's too much of a hot mess over here.
Oh, wow.
So she went back to private. She went to private. And she left private to come to
Yes.
yeah, she was
Thinking
really,
it was going to be better.
yeah, no, she was really good. They gave her a lot of money to leave private and then come here because she originally worked for a school district, left the school district and went to this private company and got a lot of money. And then they were desperately looking to help them get through it. They was over there for a long time. So they went and recruited her.
That's
And it's
hard.
like, hot ass mess over there. And it was like, I gotta get up out of here because it is a hot mess. And she probably figured, I don't want this on my name. There's an article in the news about him.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Horrible.
See if I can find it.
Horrible audit. The auditors put it in.
Wow.
Yes.
That's not good.
It's horrible. I was like, that's something you don't ever want to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because then that just follows you.
He got double paid for his own vacation. We took the money. He was back behind in taxes, $27,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't pay it. Yeah, that was a cumulative fee. It was a hot mess. I read that article. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad we didn't hire that crazy. I was like, oh, I'm so glad we didn't hire that fool. Because he was a hot mess over there.
Wow.
He used to look at Rudy. That's my Miriam. He was Rudy. It's a good district.
I'm surprised we'll be even hiring.
They got rid of him. I think they was getting rid of him.
Yeah.
I think they got duped.
All right. You guys ready? Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Welcome to the Maple Heights Board of Education. It is Monday, September 29th, 2025. This is our regular Board of Education meeting. We are located at 5740 Lawn Avenue, and the time is 6:06. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Blackwell,
Here.
Ms. Cheeks,
Here.
Ms. Granger,
Here.
Ms. Moore,
Here.
Ms. Shepherd.
Present.
All right, next we'll have a report from our superintendent.
To President Blackwell and Vice President Shepherd, and to all members of the Maple Heights City School District Board of Education, and to Treasurer Baldwin, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just have a few announcements, and then Mr. Scala is going to give us the Ohio School Report Card update that we have prepared to present to you and to the public this evening. We did recently have our homecoming last week, homecoming week, homecoming game. We did beat Lawrenceville, so that was a good thing. And the students had their pep rally on Thursday. We did not have school Friday, and then they had their homecoming dance on Saturday. Also, we had a very productive professional development day on Friday. I did share the agenda with you. One of the things that we are trying to do is make sure that we have something for everyone on those professional development days. Our next day without students is going to be on Wednesday, October 22nd. That's actually a records day. So even though students will not be in attendance, staff will be in attendance. So those staff members that have records to prepare, such as report cards and those things, testing, will have time to do that. Other staff will be participating in professional development. And then we have our parent-teacher conferences later on that evening. And so without further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Scala to come up and just provide an update to the board and to the public who are listening about our 2024-2025 Ohio School Report Card.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good evening.
All right, so this will just be an update to my presentation in July, as the two scores we were waiting on have now come. All right, so over to your guys' left, my right, is kind of what we looked at over in July. But what we are waiting on, and what's highlighted in yellow there, is both progress and then the last parts of gap closing, which is based on progress. The reason why we can't tell you progress up until basically this very moment, or when report cards post, is we can only see part of the data. We can see how our students did based on their projections from the state, but what we can't see is how everybody else did. And the way that this component works, it compares how well your growth was versus everybody else. That has now come in, and then there's three parts of gap closing that base itself off of progress, but it's within subgroups, and that's what we are waiting to come in for that. So for a 4-star, you have to be 2 standard deviations above the average growth for all. You guys can say.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we were at 1.92 standard deviations above the mean. The good part there is we're above the mean, meaning we were showing better growth than other districts, but we were not 2 standard deviations above the mean. We were up 1.92, which means we were behind getting a 4-star by 0.08, which is a tough pill to swallow when you're only 0.08 away from getting what you need. So that's unfortunate. get a 3-star, you can be all the way in the negative 1.99 to positive 1.99. So the 3-star, when I first saw it, could have been much worse. I could have gone into EVOS itself and saw something on the negative. Instead, what I saw was still encouraging. It's on the positive side. But yes, being down 0.08 from getting a 4-star is tough to see. So because that turned to be a 3-star instead of a 4-star like we talked about in July, that did not give us the points we needed for gap closing, keeping that at a 2-star instead of a 3-star. And then overall, we would be a 3-star for the district, which means we're meeting state standards, but we would not have gotten the 3.5-star. To get that 3.5-star, like we had talked about in July, progress, we would have had to been on the other side of that net, getting like, let's say, a positive 2.01, or just even a positive 2. That would have flipped that to a 4-star, and then gap closing would have then turned to a 3-star, and then we would have been at a 3.5-star district. Now, the good news is actually not for this year, but for next year, as we talk about which side of the coin you're on. And both for graduation, of which we were pretty sure was going to be at a 5-star, but we got the official report about 2 weeks ago. We were at 96.8% for a combined graduation rate, and 96.5 is what you need for a 5-star. So we beat that by 0.3. So, you know, thresholds, good or bad, that one we're on the right side. The other good one is already come in as well, because it's kind of done in the same way, is the college, career, workforce, and military. Since that bases itself on last year's graduation class, even though I can see all the data and say we're going to get a 5-star, I still wait for that report to come out, which it came out last week. And we got up to a 90.8% had at least one of those categories. You need 85% to get a 5-star. So we will have twin 5-stars on our next report card, one for graduation and one for CCWM. And those are certain scores that are locked in. So although we did not get on the right side of the threshold for progress this year, we did get on the right side of that threshold for graduation CCWM for next year. All right, any questions about currently what our report card is going to be, or those two components I talked about for next year? Okay, just always keep in mind the reason why we know next year is just the way that grade calculates, or that component. It's all based on prior year's graduating classes. All right, so on achievement, this is exactly what we went through in July. 62.8 is the PI that we ended up with. And just to remind you what PI is, every test kind of performance level that you get, whether it's limited or advanced, is linked to a certain score. And that goes from 0.3 points up to 1.2 points. You add up all those together, and that's where you get your performance index.
I'm sorry, John. I
Yep.
thought you was going to talk about the early literacy. Can you go back?
Yep. Do you want me to talk about it now, or when we get to the actual breakdown of the component?
Well, I guess we can talk about it when you get to the breakdown, because I was just wondering what happened for them to go from a 2-star down to a 1-star.
Yep. So we'll break that down, and
Okay.
I'll kind of lead you right to the eyesore that
Okay.
went the other
All
way.
right.
Okay, so for this, again, 62.8 is what it adds up to be. The reason why 67.8 is our goal is because in the end, what we need to do is get at least to a 77 on PI to get to a 3-star. So that's about 15 PI points away. You're not going to get 15 PI points in a year unless something, I don't know, happens to the point where everyone's going to come in and try to learn what you just did. Instead, 5-point increments is much more manageable, and that's why we set the goal for 67.8 for the following year. For performance index, this is actually just what we did from the 23-24 school year to the 24-25 school year in performance index overall. So you can see it by subject, and then you can see the total at the very bottom. So that positive 1.4 is what we got overall, but again, that then differentiates itself by subjects. Progress and growth totals, this would be on the progress side, not the achievement side, so the figures are a little bit different here. But you can see that positive 0.7 in the total, that's what turned out to be that 3-star for progress. So that obviously needed to be a little bit higher to get us that standard deviation to be above that 2 points that we needed. So that positive 0.7 just was good, I mean, again, growth is great, and again, if you're almost nearly 2 standard deviations above the average growth in the state of Ohio, that's good too, but you need to be exactly 2 or above. Gap closing, I would point your focus on math progress and ELA progress. Those are the 2 scores that if you look just to your left, you can see how it was 1 out of 6 and 3 out of 6. That's what we needed over to the right. And that didn't come up. Those were both 0 out of 6s, and that's what led to that going from a 3-star to a 2-star. But it says math progress and ELA progress because it relates itself directly to the progress overall grade. That's why we can't see those when we meet in July. I really just have to wait until those scores eventually kind of come up. I can give you an estimate or like a projection, but it always kind of waits till it actually posts itself. All right, give it a second. There's a lag. Okay, graduation. So this is what I projected for the 25-26 school year, and that held firm. 24-25 is kind of where it is at the moment. And just give it a second. All right, CCWMR, what's in yellow is what we got for the 24-25 school year, which was a 4-star. 85% is what we needed for 25-26, but like I said, we ended up at 90%, so that clearly just hits that 5-star, so we'll be good there as well. And then going back to what Rosalind really wanted me to focus on, which was early literacy. So what I first point you to is over to the left is the weights. So that's how much each one of these 3 components factors into this overall grade. And the big one I would have you focus on is the 3rd grade proficiency, which is the highest one. It's 40% of the grade, or nearly half. If you look at the 23 or 22-23 school year, that was at 42%, and then it went up to 51%. But what really hurt us is in the 24-25 school year, which was last year, that went all the way down to 36%. If that number stays at 36%, it's going to be almost impossible to get up above a 1-star. So when you ask what was the biggest factor of why that went from a 2 to a 1, it's because that 3rd grade proficiency went from 51% to 36%. And that really made it pretty difficult to kind of get above a 2-star at that point. I would also point you to the total off track to on track. As you can see, that went from 36 to 24 to 22. That was the big reason we talked about in July of moving towards M-class intervention, as over the last couple years using iReady's personalized instruction at early grade levels just was not showing the results we wanted from moving kids from off track at the beginning of the fall to on track, or off track at the beginning of the fall to on track the subsequent year. We need that number to be higher. Our goal for this year would be 40%. 3 years ago, we were close to that, but again, every year subsequent to that, it kept going down further and further. So that's why we asked, even though we still had 1 year left on our iReady contract, if you guys be willing to, still having that contract there, we can't get out of it, but also pick up the M-class contract so that we could get started this year. You guys were willing to do so. Just like we talked about Friday for our personal or our PD day, that was our PD day for M-class intervention as well. So that is now getting underway. And so that's the early literacy part. That's where I'll stop. Do you guys have any questions over early literacy or any of the other components we went through?
I do. So the kids that took this test they were in 3rd grade, they're in 4th grade now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what are they doing to supplement the academic portions that the kids were not proficiency on
So the way
in the
this,
3rd grade?
yep.
To
So the
help
way,
them out for the 4th grade. What are they doing now? Because those kids are going to be behind.
correct. So the state of Ohio, what they have you do, like an IEP almost, they have something called a Reading Improvement Plan, or a RIMP. These start in kindergarten and follow a student all the way up through 6th grade at this point in time. But next year, you can imagine this going to 7th, and I think they'll eventually stop at 8th grade. MIMPs, which are the math improvement plans, are going to be shortly following just this. But what the RIMP requires you to do for any grade, but specific to 3rd to 4th grade, is obviously you need your Tier 1 instruction that everyone receives. But during a half-hour intervention block every day, if you are on a RIMP, or if you're even just below benchmark in 4th grade, then you receive M-Class intervention, of which through its diagnostic has targeted interventions for early literacy skills to help improve your ability to read on grade level. So this would attack skills like phonemic awareness. This would attack skills like phonics, reading fluency, so that you can get the student to learn those skills before they can actually start to read on grade level, of which is required for the OST, which is primarily just reading comprehension. Outside of writing, reading comprehension is the dominant skill that they are measuring on the OST, really for any grade, 3rd grade through ELA 2. But to read, to be able to comprehend what you're reading, you need to first be able to read on grade level. So all those students, that would be 64% of them, clearly do not read on grade level. There's a variety of reasons why they don't read on grade level, but all of them coalesce around the idea of early literacy skills not being what they need to be. And that's what M-Class intervention would specifically target, to improve those skills so that by OST time in 4th grade, they are closer to reading on grade level, which gives them a much better shot of getting proficient on the OST that, again, is very dominant in its measurement of just reading comprehension.
Okay. When the kids were when they were in 2nd grade, these set of kids, were they scoring low in those skills? So between, working with the teachers and the principal, what did they implement?
So if you think about when these 3rd graders are 2nd graders, this would be that top line number of that 24%. So what that 24% shows us is that only 24% of the students that started off track in 1st grade, by the time they were 2nd grade, only 24% got on track.
Mm-hmm.
The other 76 did not. And so that then rolled into 3rd grade, where again, they were still provided personalized instruction by iReady. And again, only 22% then moved on track. So if you're asking me, what did they do in 2nd grade?
The 70%, what was implemented? Because, you can see clearly that the 70% of kids
Right.
were not reading on level. So
Correct.
what type of implementation did they do to help those 70% of those kids?
So you'd run the same process in that. RIMS would be what is detailing what the student needs, but the intervention would not have been M-Class at that time. It would have been personalized instruction through iReady. And that's, again, goes back into kind of what we talked about during the board retreat, where when I'm seeing 36 go to 24 to go to 22, I'm just not feeling confident that what we're doing in intervention for personalized instruction, which is primarily online instruction, is really getting these kids to where they need. And that's when we asked to move more towards M-Class intervention, which primarily focuses on small group instruction with a human instructor in front of a small group of 6 students, and sometimes 7 to 8 students, to personalize work with them, not just sit them in front of a computer. And even if the computer's spot on with what they need, clearly the instruction behind what was going on was not getting them to where they need to be, which was on track.
Did we do any summer intervention with these 70%? These kids that were in that 70%?
So every year for summer school, we do primarily invite all those that are off track. We typically try to push for them. If you're currently off track in the winter, or even, we wouldn't wait till spring because that's till May, but winter data, if that's not showing well, those are the first kids we do invite. As we typically want to keep summer school not for like a free-for-all, like anybody can show up, but more targeted instruction for targeted students that are at this point off track.
And do you know what percentage of those 70% are kids?
I would have to get back to you on what percent of those kids actually attended summer
Okay.
school, but I would tell you that trying to get students that are off track is pretty difficult. So I can't cite like a specific figure to you, but anecdotally, kind of working with the curriculum department for trying to get those kids recruited for summer school, it's pretty difficult. And the idea of like, you're the one who needs to be here, please come. A lot of times, it's almost like a conference day for parent-teacher conferences. A lot of times teachers will tell me, they see the parents they don't really need to see. They're doing well, but who they need to see, sometimes they're harder to get in the door for whatever reason. But we find that same anecdote plays itself out for summer school as well. For those that we really want to be there, that we need to be there, it sometimes is the greatest challenge to kind of get them recruited.
I know you, oh, sorry.
Okay.
I know you said that we went from iReady to M-Class. Is that what you're saying? And that's the new curriculum that we implemented this past school year?
Tier 2 curriculum, yes.
Okay.
Which is part of actually the same company for Tier 1. They're all under a company called Amplify. And again, there were two reasons to move that way. One was because of those numbers I just cited, and the worrisome of they're not growing in the way that we need, and instead they're shrinking. But two is to kind of simplify it for teachers, and then instead of having them jump from program to program to program, if we can consolidate it under one, it just becomes that much easier as one system talks to the other. And it's very much easier for a teacher to take what's going on in Tier 2 intervention and apply it to scaffolds they may need in Tier 1, when you're not jumping program or jumping scores. Instead, it's all under one.
And I think during the retreat, I vaguely remember saying that it's going to be more professional development for teachers to understand that new curriculum so they can have better work with the students. Is that correct?
That is correct. So first off, we started with just benchmarking training, and that occurred in August, right before teachers, basically students came back. We went through our benchmarking period in 2 weeks, which was great. And then after that, we started to form groups based on the data that was coming in. And then teachers received M-Class intervention training on the 26th, which was last Friday. Also keep in mind that the district invested in reading coaches this year for
Right.
K-5, so each building has their own coach. And to kind of talk about how the structure of that works, you have like Shay and myself up top working together, and then underneath that are all the coaches, and then underneath that are all the title.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, in regards to just implementing a program, having that kind of middle person there who is on the ground every single day to not only help teachers but bridge that gap between us and teachers has been immensely helpful. And the idea of just the expertise they have on the ground that we can't always deliver because we're up at district, but also in the idea of just hearing quickly within days, if not that same day, any issues that may be arising from, we need these additional materials, we may need an extra PD day, this schedule doesn't technically work, can you help us with that? Instead of having to wait weeks sometimes on a lag. Instead, having them there has been just immensely helpful.
So with the reading coaches, do they have like small groups, or are they working one-on-one with students?
So they would not be working with any students
They're working with
directly,
teachers.
but who is under them would be the title teachers,
Okay.
who would be directly working with those students, and the classroom teachers as well.
Okay.
So if you think about just under those coaches, they're really kind of seeing how all the teachers are working within the system and all the title teachers working with all those small groups. They would also lead us in progress monitoring data and conversations over that. We'll actually get to that, I would consider like an exciting meeting here in about 2 weeks, when we take a look at the first set of progress monitoring data after 10 days of instruction, and we see how those students are growing. And again, that is kind of a big difference too. Progress monitoring is done much more frequent here because the measures are only minute-based fluency measures. So instead of having to wait, let's say a month, month and a half for something to update, now we wait about 2 weeks to see how things are updated. So again, you can pivot and move quicker with that 10-day lag than compared to like a month and a half lag.
Thank you.
So John, when will we be able to have an update on the progress and how we're doing with the?
So I think, I know you head up the academic committee, correct?
Mhm.
So I think that's a good place for us to kind of really dig into how those progress monitoring numbers are doing.
Okay.
So if we want to start meeting like at the end of every month, I would say like end of October, we would have at least 2 to 3 rounds of progress monitoring in, and we could provide you guys with a great update on the idea of how those kids are trending. Basically what we'd want to see is they have their own individual trend lines of how much they need to grow to get to grade level or at or above benchmark, and we can see what % of kids are actually at that trend line or above. They just have to be at it, but not below it. That's the biggest part. So yeah, I would say working out of the academic committee, Alonso, that you're head of, I would say is a perfect place for us to put a kind of center spotlight on that, given it's a real big focus for the district overall to get that total off track to on track up and get those readers in third grade where they need to be so that our proficiency for third grade OST is not 36%, but much more akin to that 51%, if not higher.
I'll send something to Dr. Price.
Yep.
Somebody schedule something.
I would like to add something because we recently had our district leadership team meeting this week, and several of the elementary teachers were saying that it's almost like when you take this assessment, this progress monitoring that we got through the M-Class intervention, the kids are reading and you're listening to their fluency, and then you're able to ask them comprehension questions. Versus when they were on iReady, it was like they were on the computer and they were doing reading, but nobody was really listening to them. And they could maybe guess the right answer when we were getting assessment results back, versus if somebody's actually listening to them do a 1 minute and say, okay, you got 35 words in 60 seconds. That's, and then are you able to tell us what it is that you're reading? And some of our high school teachers, I know that in the reading intervention class, their challenges with some of the older kids are they have learned how to read or spot read, and they might get to a word or something that they don't know every now and again, but for the most part, they can get through a text because now they've kind of learned this behavior of I can get through most of the words, but they don't comprehend what they're reading. So that's why we're saying that we want to intervene at an earlier age and say it's not just about reading the words, because reading actually has meaning. So that's a shift, and I think as I'm listening to this conversation, we might want to talk about maybe having just a brief presentation at a future board meeting to kind of help you guys understand and see like the difference of M-Class intervention since it's new compared to what they have been doing on iReady, which has been much more independent and not really have the teacher interacting as our kids obviously need some additional support with that comprehension as well as the fluency. Because if you read a passage and it takes you, 10 minutes to read a paragraph or something, you're going to lose meaning because you don't have the cadence, the fluency. So that's really kind of a shift from iReady to using the M-Class intervention.
Yeah, we can see you now perform. We're not kind of guessing performance based on the idea of a score that's the output from an online test. All right, any other questions over any of the components of the report card or next year's 2 components that are already locked in? All right, great. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stella Flora, did you have anything else?
No, that concludes it.
Okay. Now we have a report from our treasurer, Ms. Waldman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So you'll see on my agenda items here that one of the first things I wanted to just update you about was our permanent appropriations, which will set the spending budgets for each of our funds. We had a really good meeting on grants. A group of administrators and those in charge of grants got together to meet and to be very targeted, organized and targeted with our grant spending. I think I was very impressed with the level of dedication to getting that money, out for students as quickly as possible. So I've been working to get push budgets out, and that's part of the permanent appropriations. Next board meeting, I will have the forecast for you to approve, and my permanent appropriations align with the forecast as it was presented in May, and so I may have additional updates throughout the year after the forecast is finished. I also wanted to point out specifically on the donations that Kenesha Coward was awarded the Browns Coach of the Week, and they donated $1,000 to the girls' flag football program. So
Okay.
that's all I had.
Thank you so much, Ms. Baldwin. All right. Before we approve the, excuse me, the financial report, can I have a motion to approve the board minutes from the September 16th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Baldwin, can we roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Abstain. I wasn't here, so.
Okay. Ms. Granger?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes. Next, the treasurer recommends approval of the financial report for the month ending August 31st, 2025. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Yes.
Ms. Granger?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes. All right. Next is subject C, resolution number 25-101, adoption of permanent appropriations for fiscal year 25-26. A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Baldwin, can we roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Yes.
Ms. Granger?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes. Next is subject letter D, approval of return of advancement of funds. The treasurer recommends approval of the return of advancement of funds previously approved by the board on June 23rd, 2025 and June 30th, 2025. Funds in the amount of $1,107,500, excuse me, I'm sorry, will be returned to the general fund from the following funds as indicated, which is listed below. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Baldwin, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Yes.
Ms. Granger?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes. Next is 25-26 student activity funds. The treasurer recommends approval of the following student activity funds for the 25-26 school year. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Baldwin, can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Granger?
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes. Next is donation from the Cleveland Browns for the Maple Heights Girls Flag Football Program. The treasurer recommends approval of acceptance of a monetary donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Cleveland Browns for the Maple Heights Girls Flag Football Program. Can I have a motion to approve the donation?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Right. Next is approval of the agenda. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none,
Did
Ms.
I
Bowman?
hear Ms. Cheeks second?
Yes, she
Okay.
Yes.
Second.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Next is new business resolutions. Resolution number 25-102, independent contractor agreement, fiscal auditing services contract. The superintendent recommends approval of a contract to provide fiscal auditing services to audit retirement contributions and employment contracts. Any discussion regarding this contract?
I do. Where's the name, who you're doing this independent contractor? Where's the name of the consultant or the
it's-
the name of the company?
It's in the resolution
It's in
down at the, right
Yeah,
there.
Veronica Reinhardt.
Veronica
Yeah.
Reinhardt.
Oh,
think
okay,
it's
now I
up
see
to-
it. Okay, I see it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Concerns? Can we have a motion to approve the contract?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Next is Maple Heights High School DECA marketing students overnight trip to Columbus. Superintendent recommends approval for an overnight trip for the marketing student members to attend the DECA state competition from February 24th to 26th, 2026 in Columbus, Ohio. Can I have a motion to approve the overnight trip?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Next is Maple Heights High School Business Professionals of America overnight trip to Columbus. Superintendent recommends approval for overnight trip for the Business Professionals of America student members to attend the Business Professionals of America state competitions from February 23rd, 24th, 2026 in Columbus. Any questions or concerns regarding this? And have a motion to approve this overnight trip?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Next is the Maple Heights High School Closing the Achievement Gap overnight trip, College Now College Tour, various locations. The superintendent recommends approval for an overnight trip for Closing the Achievement Gap student members to attend the College Now College Tour from October 14th through 16th of 2025 to include colleges in Maryland and Virginia. Any questions or concerns regarding this? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve this tour?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Baldwin, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Next is our consent calendar. Superintendent recommends approval of all consent agenda items. Employment is specifically conditioned on and subject to successful background checks, receipt and final administrative review of all application records, and receipt of all necessary documentation. Ms. Delafleur, this is B through,
I think it's J.
B through J?
Yes.
Any questions or concerns regarding B through J?
Yeah, I want to ask the question. So you said this is a funding and they get a grant for it? I'm sorry, I said that wrong. How come the teachers get 25, but the most get 20? Just curious.
I don't know the answer to that. It's been like that. I'll have to find out.
I mean, because they basically doing the same thing
Yeah.
there. It seems like they should all get paid the same amount of money.
Yeah, I can find out.
Okay.
Do you know the difference
I'm-
over 21st century? think
I
we
don't
both
know
looked
the
into it.
difference.
Is it,
Okay.
is
We
it
can
'cause-
find out.
Is it $20 because it's a paraprofessional
Rather than a teacher.
other than a teacher? That would probably be the difference because it's always been like that.
I mean, but they doing the same thing. It's not like this is something, I just think it's just, if it's a grant, they all should be getting paid the same amount of money. I'm just asking the question, why is it a
Yeah,
difference
I
of
don't,
$5?
I don't know the
I can
answer.
talk to Dr. Price. This is what they've been doing, so I'll find out the reason and we can let you guys know.
Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? I have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Baldwin, can we roll
So
call,
we're
please?
moving all this into.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. All right, we are now at the point of public participation. If anyone would like to come up and. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
My name is Andrea Beeman. I'm president of the Maple Organization Support Team. I have two questions. The first question that I have pertains to a contract that you guys just approved. And if you will go to that contract on page 1, down at number 3 of that contract, it says compensation, talks about the compensation of the contract, and it has $75.00 in writing, but it's $80 per hour. So I need to ask this board, which one is it? Is it the written $75 or is it the $80 per hour that you just approved?
It's 80.
It should be 80.
Okay, because it's
And
written
if-
75 in
Where's
words.
there's a typo there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page 1.
Okay, so that's that one. All right, and then my other question from this report is that there was the approval of the return of the advancement of funds. So the $1.1 million is going to be returned to the general funds. My question, as a taxpaying citizen, is I would like to know why they were moved, if you could clarify that for me.
Sure. At the end of the year, we submit our final cash request to the state, who then requests the money from the federal government. They're not always very quick to get those checks out to us, and we have to end the year with a positive cash balance in those funds. So we advance money from the general fund, which then gets paid back after the year, and, yeah. Sure.
Good evening. My name's Ernie Wargo. I'm an Assistant Scoutmaster at Troop 380 in Maple Heights. We're the only Boy Scout troop in Maple Heights. There's no Cub Scouts at the time. Been trying to get a time where we could come into the schools and try to recruit some new kids.
Okay.
I don't know,
You just need to make an appointment with the superintendent, so you can,
I have some flyers.
Does it have your information on there?
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'll pass it.
Yeah, we currently meet at St. Andrew's Church on Mondays from 7 to 8:30, but normally we should be going back to Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. We try to accommodate all the kids with their sports and other activities, so we only have 8 scouts now, only one from Maple Heights, so we can use a few more. And last year at the Fall Fest, there was a lot of interest in Cub Scouts. It gives the kids something to do that's constructive and away from their iPads and phones for a weekend or an evening.
Absolutely. All right.
yes, definitely.
What was your last name?
Wargo, W-A-R-G-O.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in, Mr. Wargo. Anyone else? Excuse me. All right. So at this time, then, we'll be going into executive session for number 1. Have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Baldwin, can we roll call, please?
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Granger,
Yes.
Ms. Cheeks,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell.
Yes. Now in executive session, it is 6:53. Thank you all for coming out. Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
No,
No action.
no action will be taken.